Hello and welcome to Emotional Eating Unwrapped. I'm your host, Alana Kessler, and I am happy to be here today, bringing you another new episode. So excited. I think this is our 28th episode already. So we are trucking right along here, bringing you all this new content. I love everyone's responses. Feel free to send us a review. Feel free to send us a Q&A. If you're listening on Spotify, you can always go to the Q&A section and write in a question, leave a review. We love hearing it. And we also know what kind of content you are looking for, and I would be happy to bring to you. So let's dive into what we're going to talk about today. And today we're going to talk about navigating body image and weight loss. And I want to talk about this because I see so much out there in society and the way that people view weight loss as almost this shameful thing, that if you want to lose weight, there's no room for there's no room for there being two things to exist at once, right? There's no room to repair your relationship with food and your body image and also want to lose weight. It's almost like if you say that you want to lose weight, you are you are then in conflict with loving your body. And for me, this is it's just such a misaligned belief. It's such a misaligned narrative, because there's just so much there's just so much to say around this. And there's just so much to say around how reconciling your desire to lose weight can actually be a portal towards a healthier body image and a healthier relationship with food. And in today's episode, I'm going to go through some themes where people talk about ways that they feel shame around weight loss. And I'm going to take today's episode as an opportunity to reframe those themes and create less shame around wanting to lose weight. Because at the end of the day, I really want you to walk away with this feeling that if weight loss is a goal of yours and something that you're having a difficult time in your own mind reconciling, like how can I want to lose weight and also feel fully not confident, but also feel like fully grounded in the sense that I have a sense of self-worth that goes beyond just my body image. Let this episode be the place where you can feel sure about that and you can feel validated about that, because it really is such an important thing to recognize that it is not a measure of low self-worth to want to lose weight. It is not a measure of low self-worth to say, if my body felt and looked a different way, it would unleash confidence, it would unleash a certain part of my personality that maybe I'm hiding. It would unleash my um, belief in myself, that I might be able to put myself out there for things because I wouldn't feel so insecure or hiding my body, or I wouldn't be judging myself from the outside, right? Like there's so many reasons that admitting to yourself that you want to lose weight just unlocks so much in our lives. And I understand why it can be easy to fall into the trap of, by admitting that I want to lose weight, I'm therefore saying that I have low self-worth about myself, because there were times in society, and maybe back in the 1950s or even before, where women's whole identity was their body image. And basically, they spent so much of their brain power and their mind and their effort into creating this image for themselves that therefore would make them feel worthy. But the thing is it's not binary like that anymore, right? Women have so much more opportunity. There's so many other areas where we do get our self-worth from, and it's really important that you know those things for yourself and that you have that list, that resourcing list of non-body things in your life that give you self-worth. And it is important for you to acknowledge to yourself if your body image is hindering your ability to live from that self-worth. And I think maybe some people are not willing to go there for a variety of reasons. And I'm going to go into those reasons today. But I also do want to say that I know, and being in my 40s and being a child of the 80s and the 90s, not so far removed from when body image as a core measure of worthiness for women was a real thing. I know that it can be easy to boomerang back there and almost like go the opposite direction and somewhat pretend like it doesn't matter at all, because it does. And it, I mean, so for some people, maybe it doesn't, right? And I'm going to go into that later. But I would say that for the majority of women that listen to my podcast, that reach out to me, on DM, that apply to work with me, that are in my program, they want to feel a certain way in their bodies. They probably want to lose weight. And I think normalizing that this is something that we can accept, and that accepting it actually is a huge a huge portal, like I said before, and a huge part of growing self-worth is really important. So let's go into some of the themes that I'm going to talk about with understanding shame and weight loss. And I'm going to give some examples, and I'm going to give some reframes. All right. So I spoke about one in the intro just before about back in the day when women's self-worth was very much defined by their image. And we went into that reframe about how that isn't true. And we have many other measures of self-worth these days as women, and that it's really important that we know what those are for us, so that we don't feel like that focusing on weight loss can totally derail our sense of self-worth, right? Because we have so many other buckets that fill our self-worth container, that if we decide that we want to lose weight, we're not going to all of a sudden be derailed in our self-worth. Okay, so that's one reframe. The second one is saying you want to lose weight means that you have fallen victim to diet culture and have a low self-worth, and you are now a victim of diet culture. And I'm going to reframe that in a similar way that I reframed before, is that the truth is it's so untrue. Admitting that you want to lose weight is not falling victim to diet culture. If you were to say that hitting your goal weight would make you worthy, then you would be falling victim to diet culture. But admitting yourself that feeling bad in your body has held you back from living, and finally doing something about it, right? Taking the steps to change, not fix. So there's a difference between fix and change. You're not fixing yourself, but changing something about your routine, your habits, your lifestyle, doing that inner work to realign your lifestyle so that you do lose weight. That's actually a measure of self-worth, taking action towards your higher aspirations, towards your higher goals. Okay. The next one is it's anti-feminist to admit that wearing a smaller size makes you feel more confident, right? So this is something else that I've heard before, that it's like admitting that you want to wear a smaller size or that you want to lose some weight is like anti-feminist. But I want to give you this reframe. At the end of the day, being a feminist actually means that you have taken radical responsibility for creating the conditions in your life where you are feeling good. That's what being a feminist is. That means that you are fully embodied in your feminine energy, and feminine energy is actually about creating the conditions, taking full responsibility for feeling good in your life and in your body. Being a feminist does not mean that you forego or absolve yourself of everything to do with femininity and you stop caring about how you look and feel in your body. That's not being a feminist, or all of a sudden that none of that matters to you. Okay? That's not what being a feminist is. Being a feminist is that you embrace feminine energy. And feminine energy is actually very, very strong. And it means that you have strong boundaries and strong standards, and you hold yourself to those. Okay. So actually, it is very feminist to own that you want to wear a smaller size if that makes you feel more confident. Now, again, the caveat here is that this has to matter to you. If this doesn't really matter to you authentically, truthfully in your soul, this might not apply to you. But what I'm asking you to do today is look deep down into your soul and be honest. Only you know if you're being honest. So, all of today's episode is going to resonate with you if you're being honest about yourself. So, that is the big caveat here. The next one is that you can feel shame about in the weight loss journey and why it can be difficult is prioritizing yourself and what you need to do and surround yourself with to sustain the body you feel good in makes you feel ashamed. Okay, so you feel like making yourself a priority and doing the things that you need to do to sustain feeling good in your body, you feel shame about. Whether that's internal shame, you feel guilty, you feel selfish, or whether that's external shame, whether you're being told that it's crazy or that you've changed or something's wrong with you or people judge you or you get criticized, whatever the reason, there's shame around prioritizing yourself and what you need to do and surround yourself with. And that's food, that's routine, that's people, that's lifestyle stuff to sustain the body you feel good in, right? There's shame around that. But I want to give you the reframe here that the highest form of self-worth, emotional maturity, and feminism is adhering to the boundaries and standards that you create for your life in order to ensure that you are feeling secure, confident, and free to live life and love, right? And give and receive love as you desire. And if you feel shame around enforcing these boundaries and standards, this is the work you need to focus on. You need to upgrade your mindset and get clear on why this is important to you. Okay, so if you feel shame around making yourself a priority, doing all the things that making yourself a priority entails, what you need to do is focus on why it is important to you. Okay, why is it important to you? You need to know your why. Because the longer that you carry shame around, the greater you are to self-sabotage and blame food and eating for why you don't feel good in your body or free around food. Okay, so the longer that you feel shame around making yourself a priority, the more likely that you're going to get caught up in that hamster wheel of emotional eating, real diet culture, like falling into diets and, the short-term the weight loss fluctuations, that you get the results and you lose the results. Thinking that food is bad, or that you have to stop eating certain things or leave food out of your house because they're just too tempting, right? The more you're going to keep focusing on the outside stuff like food as a reason as to why you're not achieving the body that and the feeling in your body that you really want, when really the reason why you're not is because you feel shame around prioritizing this goal, admitting this goal. So at the end of the day, you have to overcome the internalized shame that you feel around weight loss. This is probably some of the biggest work that I do with my clients and my students. This is probably the biggest work that I do with them. Because I'm going to say this, it's easier to say that you want to heal your relationship with food or overcome emotional eating and stop binging. Or it's easier to say that you want to finally stop turning to food when you're stressed than it is to admit that you want to lose weight. It is much easier to put it on food and say that you want to just like change your eating habits and all this stuff and say that that's your goal than it is to admit that you want to lose weight. There's not as much shame around saying I want to fix my eating habits. There's just not. But there is all this shame around saying you want to lose weight. But I'll tell you this truth, when pressed, almost every single one of my clients and students ultimately want to lose weight. They may not admit it at first, but when I tell them that my framework will definitely help them stop binging, overeating, and stress eating, and then if I ask them if they'll be happy with that result, that they'll feel like they've had success, if that is all that's changed in their life, right? They do my framework and they totally stop binging. They totally stop emotionally eating. When I ask them if that will be successful, just about everyone says, but will I also lose weight? I would say that 98% of everyone says, but will I also lose weight? And it's kind of like just like, by the way, will I also lose weight? When the truth of the matter is that the weight loss part is huge for them. It is huge for them. And I do finally get there with them. And when we finally get there where they say it is huge for them, that's usually when we unlock the results. So something I always do with clients right off the bat is I support them in feeling empowered around wanting to lose weight and giving them the right tools to do it in a way where it is not enabled by meal plans or macro counts that make them feel like something outside of themselves is the reason for their success. That's the problem, right? When you do it with macro counting or meal plans, I'm not saying that you can't lose weight that way. You do, but it's not sustainable. The reason being it's an enabling tool. You're focusing on something outside of you to give you that accountability. And it only leads to ultimate disempowerment and a lack of spontaneity. Okay, spontaneity. When I press people also on what they want their goal, they want to feel free. People say freedom with food, they want to be spontaneous. They want to be able to like eat what they want when they want and, have a plan, but break the plan. It's like you want to have an idea of what you want to do, but then something else comes up and you want to be able to feel good that when you make a different decision. And if you want to talk about feminism, spontaneity is actually a major value of authentic feminism. Because what spontaneity is, it's the core of feminine energy. It's the confidence to listen to your intuition and trust that it will not lead you astray. Okay, following a meal plan or a macro count for permission or security is actually very anti-feminist. It's actually very masculine, right? You're following a rule, you're following a plan. Anything to do with planning is masculine. Okay, so if you're trying to get to some sort of freedom and spontaneity from following a masculine construct, it's just not going to happen. It will never lead to that feeling of true, authentic confidence and the freedom that you're looking for. It just won't. That being said, if your body size truly has no impact on your sense of self-esteem, and this is some women, it isn't me, and it's not a lot of my clients and students, but I have some friends in my life that feel this way. That being said, if your body size truly has no impact on your sense of self-esteem, and whether you can easily zip up your favorite dress or maybe it feels tight on you has zero impact on you, right? Like you kind of wouldn't even notice if your dress was too tight, right? Then amazing, right? Like it's amazing. It's great. Like I said, I have friends who are this way. Now I'll also tell you they're not emotional eaters. Okay, they're not. They don't really emotionally eat, and healing emotional eating is not something that's a priority for them. So those two things usually do come hand in hand. They really have this thing where their body image is just not a part of what factors into their sense of self-esteem. And if that's you listening to this, then amazing. I would say that for the majority of people listening to my podcast and that are in my courses or my coaching programs, that is not the case for them. And for those people, I would just want to say that lying to ourselves about what we really want, that is the poison that will permeate our goals for life. Okay, that is the poison that is going to create the rot as to why we can't achieve our goals, lying to ourselves about our true desires. So it's so essential that you're true and honest with yourself about how your body image fits into your ability to feel confident and free to live your life and have the joys of living that you want deep down inside. We all have different ideas of what that looks like for us, right? So my living life like $1,000,000 can be different than your living life by $1,000,000, but I just want you to know what your living life like $1,000,000 is. You need to know your why, and then you need to remove the shame if your body image and how you feel in your body is impacting you achieving your why. So, thank you so much for joining me today for this episode. And don't forget to join me again next week with another new episode about emotional eating so you can fall in love with eating and start losing weight and keep it off with sustainable strategies and lasting change. And if you found this episode helpful and insightful, please subscribe, leave a review on Apple, and share it with those who may benefit from this empowering knowledge. I also have lots of free resources on my website to support you on your journey to loving food and losing weight. Just go to www.bewellbyak.com. And until next time, I'm Alana, and thank you for listening to Emotional Eating Unwrapped.